లైవ్ వస్తుంది. వాయిస్ మీకు వినిపిస్తుంది కదమ్మా? Okay, start. So when was our previous session happened? Friday. And today? Day, Tuesday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. The continuous breaks came. Okay. So regard to weekend and festival. Okay. So in our previous session, if I am not wrong, I have given a small work in the context of cost sheet. So how many of you actually solved the problem? How many of you remembered that homework at least? Teja? Sai? Huh? What? What no? With respect to cost sheet, do you remember the structure of cost sheet? And I have informed that imposition will be given if anyone, if I'm not wrong, did I give any sort of written homework? Write cost sheet 3 times like that? No, only just revisionary purpose I have given, right? Okay, right. So with which aspect cost sheet will begin? What is the first point of cost sheet? Direct material, direct labor, direct expenses. So is there any formula for direct material? Is there any formula? Yes. What is the formula? Opening stock of raw material plus purchases plus direct expenses with related to purchase. Example, carriage inward minus closing stock, which gives rise to direct material consumption. Direct material consumption. And what is the second point? Direct labor. And what is the third point? Direct expenses. All three components sums up to prime cost. So what you will call prime cost. Okay. So after prime cost, what is the component? We have to add factory overheads. So after adding factory overheads to prime cost, the result will be called as gross works cost. Gross works cost. So this is gross works cost. And to this gross works cost, we have to do an adjustment. Adjustment means one addition, one subtraction. What we need to add? Opening stock of work in progress. And what we need to deduct? Closing stock of work in progress. So after we did this small adjustment, the result will be called as net works cost. Net works cost. And in the same way, we have to add administration overheads. The result will be called as cost of production. Cost of production. So after adding administration overheads to networks cost, the result will be called as cost of production. And to this cost of production, we have to do again do a small adjustment. So adjustment means addition and subtraction. What we need to add? Opening stock of finished goods. What we need to deduct? Closing stock of finished goods. And the result will be called as COGS, cost of goods sold. Cost of goods sold. And last but not least, what we need to do? We need to add selling and distribution overheads. And after addition of selling and distribution overheads to cost of goods sold, the result will be called as cost of sale. So after cost of sales arrived, we have to add profit or loss. Profit is the profit, loss is the loss. So profit or loss. And the last result will be called as sales. This is the ultimate structure of cost sheet, which we have revised multiple times so far. From the beginning of cost sheet, I think this is 7th time or 8th time the classes where I have completely formatted the whole cost sheet. Okay, so why I am insisting cost sheet many times? Because at interlevel, the problems from cost sheet will directly, there is a bright chance the problems will directly come into your examination paper. Examiner will try to test the students with respect to the knowledge of cost sheet. And if any cost sheet problem has been given, it won't be given for a small marks. Say for example 3 marks, 2 marks, 4 marks, at least 5 marks. No, minimum 7 marks. Minimum. That is minimum. If any large problem has been given, it will be rewarded with minimum 10 to 12 marks. Okay, so this much weightage is allocated for cost sheet chapter. That is why I am insisting on learning the cost sheet structure in a theoretical and practical way many times. Okay, so you must not forget the structure of cost sheet. So this is all about cost sheet. Now we have already solved some problems in cost sheet, and I have given a problem as homework. But due to continuous holidays, you people are converted into enjoy mode. Have you solved the problem? Illustration 6. Have you tried? No. Why? Okay. Try చేసావా? ఓకే. ఏ మర్చిపోయావు? ఏ మర్చిపోయాడు. గుర్తుండేలా చేద్దాం. మంచి వర్క్ ఇస్తే గుర్తుంటుంది ఆటోమేటిక్. ఓకే, సరే. You people are forgetting the work. So it is my responsibility to remember the work. I'll try the levels of punishment or levels of imposition or levels of whatever we will call, so that you won't forget. Okay, right. So let's try to solve illustration 6 first of all. Okay, so I think illustration 5 we have completed. This small illustration we have completed already, and this is the answer actually. So illustration 6 we'll try to complete in this session, and if I'm not wrong, we'll try to solve this illustration also in this session. Both are cost sheet formats only. If you remember our current discussion with respect to cost sheet, then you will be able to solve the both problems. Nothing complicated in it. So illustration number 6. Udbhav, read the problem. So these are the cost records of a manufacturer for the year 2021. Okay, how many units produced? 10,000 units he has produced. Cost of raw materials 2 lakhs. So for 10,000 units he has spent 2 lakhs in the name of raw material, means direct material. So per unit cost will be 2 lakhs by 10,000 means 20. 2 lakhs by 10,000 means 20. Next, labor cost 1,20,000 for how many units? 10,000 units. 1,20,000 divided by 10,000, how much? 12 rupee. So this is 20 rupee, this is 12 rupee. Next, factory overheads is 80,000 and office overheads is 40,000 and selling and distribution overheads 10,000 and rate of profit is 25% on the selling price. So rate of profit is equal to how much? Selling price. On selling price it will be 25%. Next, how many units he has produced so far? 10,000 units, and the data is pertaining to 10,000 units only. But now he decided to produce 15,000 units in the coming year. So he is increasing the production level or decreasing the production level? He is going to increase the production level. Why? Because in 2021 he produced 10,000 units and in 2022 he is planning to produce 15,000 units. He is going to increase the production level. 20%. So raw material cost will increase by 20%. In simple, we can conclude that what is the cost of raw material? 20 rupee. 20 rupee in the previous year. But now it is going to increase by 20%. So 20 into 20%, how much? 4 rupee. So the increase in the cost of raw material is 4 rupee and the new cost of raw material is 24 per unit. 24 per unit. We will simply multiply how many units we are going to produce? 15,000. 24 into 15,000. How much? 3,60,000. So now I am going to solve the problem, but for your exercise purpose, I am requiring answers from all of you. I am expecting answers. Next one, and the labor cost will increase by 10%, right? Labor cost how much? 12 rupee. It is going to increase by 10%. It means 12 into 10%, how much? 1 rupee, how much rate? 12 into 10% means 1.2. 1.2. So 12 plus 1.2. So the new labor cost will be 13.2 per unit. But how many units we are producing? 15,000. Then multiply 13.2 into 15,000, how much? 1,98,000. Okay, next one. Variable. There are overheads, right? Overheads, matlab, factory overheads 80,000, office overheads 40,000, selling and distribution overheads. Oh, selling expenses he has given. Okay. Overheads means two. Factory overheads and office overheads. Both overheads are 80,000, 40,000. And the structure of the overheads he has given clearly as 50% are fixed and other 50% are variable. That means we have to divide the overheads. First 50% fixed, remaining 50% variable. Do you know what is meant by fixed cost and variable cost? At foundation level costing basics only, you might have learned. but I'm going to tell you in a simple way. Fixed cost means, the name itself is saying, fixed cost means the cost is not going to change and the cost is fixed irrespective of your production level. So, irrespective of your production level, I'm going to write as well. Irrespective of production level, the costs are fixed in the nature of fixed cost, and there is also other cost. Those costs are variable costs. So variable cost will, the name itself is saying varying. Varying means changing. Varying means what ma? Changing. So variable cost will change according to production level. So fixed cost will not change according to production level, but variable cost will change according to production level. You have to write in your running notes. You have to write in your running notes, and solutions also. After solving the problem, I'm going to give time. You must write in your running notes. For all subject, you are placing one book. Huh? No, I want separate books for separate subjects, or at least there should be a separate book for costing subject. Or if your book is a long book, that means 200 or 300 pages book, you can write both sides, front and back. It is not a problem. So write it down fast. Fixed cost means irrespective of your production level, the cost will be fixed. It will not change. It will not change. Whereas variable cost change according to production level. That means the more and more you produce, the more and more variable cost will incur. The less you will produce, the less you will incur. Simple. And the main thing is, completed. Shall I proceed? So the main thing is, in fixed cost, cost per unit is not fixed. Lump sum cost is fixed. And in reverse, to outlet. Okay, we'll write. So in variable cost, cost per unit is fixed. Lump sum cost not fixed. These are the very important points. Okay, so cost per unit is fixed in case of variable cost. Cost per unit is fixed in case of variable cost, but as a lump sum it will vary. As a lump sum it will vary. And in fixed cost, lump sum it will be fixed, but cost per unit it is not fixed. Okay, so I'm going to tell an important example after you have written carefully. These are the very important points you have to write and understand carefully. Very, very important. Okay, shall I proceed with example? Listen carefully. This is very important concept for your upcoming sessions also. So I need everybody's attention and you must understand carefully. And I'm going to ask at any point of time the questions on this concept. Must be able to answer my question. Otherwise, it is a very serious threat for your learning. Why? Because the whole knowledge of costing will depend on these topics. Fixed cost and variable cost. Very, very important. Okay. So, sir, what is the significance of these concepts? Listen carefully. I'm going to tell a simple example. So, a group of your five friends plan to go on a vacation by hiring a simple car. How many of you are there? Five friends. So, in which mode you are traveling? Car. So, for rental purposes, you have to hire a car for 3 days, and the rent is 3,000 per day, or 4 days, and the rent is 2,500 per day. 2,500 into how many days? 4 days. Amounts to 10,000. And the fuel expenses is 6,000. Fuel expenses is 6,000. And toll gate and all other expenses amounts to another 4,000. And stay and food and other vacation expenses another 20,000. Okay, listen carefully. So the total expenses is how much? 40,000. How much? 40,000. 10,000 for car rent, 6,000 for fuel, 4,000 for toll gates, sums up to 20,000. And there is another 20,000. Another 20,000 for food, boarding, lodging expenses, etc. So this is the expenditure for your trip, your planned expenditure, 40,000. So how many of you are going to trip? 5 members. So for 5 members, this is the expenditure sheet. For 5 members, listen, very important. For 5 members, this is the expenditure sheet. How much? 40,000. It means per head how much? 8,000. Per head how much? 8,000. Eighth table. 8 5s are 40. Okay. So for 5 members, it is 40,000. And do you remember the subdivision of 40,000? 10,000 car rent, 6,000 fuel, 4,000 toll gate, and 20,000 for stay, food, boarding, lodging, etc. Actually, food expenses will increase with the number of members and decrease with the number of members, right? If number of members are high, food expenses and lodging expenses will increase. If number of members are low, it will decrease. Say for example, you alone went to a restaurant. Hardly you will eat one starter and one biryani. It amounts to 500 or 600. Group of 5 friends went to a restaurant. In 500, it is possible to close the bill? No. For 5 members, it will be somewhere around 2,000, 2,500, 3,000. Like that, it will happen. Listen carefully. So here food expenses 20,000. Na? So how we have arrived 20,000 means it is per head 4K, 4,000. So 5 members, right? 4,000 into 5 members, how much? 20,000. This is the actual, this is the planned budget. Listen carefully. How many members are you going for a trip? 5 members. All of a sudden, these 2 members give hand, golden handshake. Person is saying, in my household, my mother is not accept. Somewhere he said some reason. And he is saying my GF is not accepting. GF means grandfather. Tataya. Do you think it's so? Udbhav is saying my grandfather is not accepting, so I won't come for the trip. You please, you people go ahead with the trip. Listen carefully. Now, the new budget for 3 members will be, listen, Is there any change in the car rent for 5 members and 3 members? 5 members and 3 members, is there any change in the car rent? No. So the car owner or the person who is giving the car on rent will charge according to days basis. Even though you single person hired a car, it will be 2500 per day. For 4 days, it will be 2500 into 4 days, 10,000. So even though one person hired the car, 2% traveling in the car, 3 persons traveling in the car, 4 or 5 persons traveling in the car, it is immaterial. He don't care. Whenever he gave the car on rent, per day it will be 2500. Have you ever hired a car on rental basis? So whenever you hide a car on rental basis, it is immaterial how many members are traveling in the car. Say for example, I hide a car on rental basis. I am only traveling in that car. In first case, only I am traveling in the car. In second case, I along with 4 other of my friends, my friends are traveling. Total 5 members are traveling in the car. There any change in the rent the car owner is going to charge? For 1 member, same charge. For 5 members also, same charge. So you people are going on a vacation, right? These 2 persons gave golden handshake, right? Then how many members are going? 3 members are going. For 3 members, the car rent is not going to change. For 4 members or 5 members or 3 members, it is 10,000 only. This kind of costs is called fixed cost. What kind of costs, ma? Fixed cost. Listen carefully. After arriving at the destination, you book food, boarding and lodging, right? That is per head 4,000, right? Actually, you planned for 5 members. Now, currently, how many members are going for vacation? Only 3 members. Now, the cost is reduced or increased or same? Cost reduced or increased or same? Cost neither increased nor at the same level. It is actually decreased. Why decreased? Why? Because out of 5 members, only 3 members showed up to the tour. So 4K into how many members, ma? 3 members. How much it is? 12,000. So these kind of costs will be called as variable costs. What? Variable cost. Listen carefully. What I have written here in variable cost, cost per unit is fixed, whereas lump sum cost is not fixed. Listen carefully. Here cost per unit 4,000. Here also 4,000. So cost per unit 4K fixed. But amount wise here 20,000, but here 12,000, not fixed. Amount wise will change. Cost per unit is fixed. So this is the nature of variable cost. So the nature of variable cost is cost per unit fixed. Lump sum cost not fixed. If you increase the production, variable cost will increase. If you decrease the production, variable cost will decrease. If 5 members are going for a tour, variable cost will increase. Only less than 5 members are going for the tour, variable cost will decrease. Okay, clear, Amma? Now, let's post-mortem the nature of fixed cost. So, fixed cost is what I have written here. Lump sum cost is fixed. Cost per unit is not fixed. Read it again. Lump sum cost is fixed. Cost per unit not fixed. Listen carefully. How many members are going for a trip? 5 members. Actually 5 members planning, but how many members actually going? 3 members. Either for 5 members or for 3 members, the rent will be same. So listen carefully. Lump sum cost is clear? Lump sum cost is fixed. Listen. Say for example, if 5 members are going for a trip, how much will be the cost per head? 2000. Why 10,000 divided by 5, how much? 2000. So 5 twos are 10 kadamma. So cost per head 2000. Hey boy, give 2000. 2000. Like 5 members gave 2000, it will amounts to rent of the car. Say for example, how many members gave the hand? These 2 members cancelled the plan at last minute. And how many members actually went for the trip? 3 members. But the rent will be same, na? So rent how much? 10,000 divided by 3. Use calculator and say the answer. 3,333. So listen carefully. Now it is very, very important. Listen carefully. Everybody. In the both cases, what both cases? 5 members case, 3 members case. In both cases, rent is same. Rent is same. 10,000 only. Car rent is how much? 10,000 only. Either for 5 members or for 3 members. Rent will be same. But cost per head is changing, na? First of all, it is 2000. Second of all, it is 3,333. Listen. Lump sum cost is fixed. 10,000 fixed. But cost per unit not fixed. Yes. Sometimes it is 2000. Sometimes it is 3,333. If only 4 members went to the trip, what might be the per head cost of car rent? 2,500. Excellent, Sai. How it has arrived? How? How you said 2,500? 4 members went for the trip, sir. Car rent is 10,000, sir. 10,000 divided by 4, sir. Simple. 2,500. Say, for example, if only 2 members went for the trip, 5,000. Only 1 member went for the trip. So listen carefully. Per head cost is always changing. But lump sum is only same. Car rent always 10,000, na? In any of the case, if 1 member went for the trip, 2 member, 3 member, 4 member, evvadaina ellani. So irrespective of how many members actually participated in the trip, the 10,000 cost is same, na? Yes. What is changing? Cost per unit is changing. That is why I have clearly written, in case of fixed cost, lump sum cost is fixed, cost per unit is not fixed. In case of fixed cost, cost as a lump sum, cost as a whole, cost as an amount, cost as a bulk, cost as a lump sum, by whatever name we will call. Cost as a lump sum, cost as a whole, cost as a bulk, cost in total, by whatever name you may call. The total cost is fixed. Per head cost will change. Per head cost will change. In case of what? Fixed cost. Whereas the scenario is quite opposite in case of variable cost. So what will happen in case of variable cost? In case of variable cost, so cost per unit is fixed. Lump sum cost is not fixed. Now listen carefully. In both the cases, right symbol is applicable in what scenarios? In first scenario, right symbol is applicable in lump sum cost. In second scenario, right symbol is applicable in cost per unit. In first scenario, no symbol is applicable in cost per unit, and in case of second scenario, no symbol is there in lump sum. Okay, so this is the basic nature of fixed cost and variable cost. Simple, ma. If costs are changing according to the level of activity, level of activity. Say for example, you are increasing production, costs also increasing. You are decreasing production, costs also decreasing. These kind of costs are variable costs. These kind of costs are variable costs. In simple, hutch dog, you know, hutch dog. What will hutch dog will do? Wherever you go, it will follows. If you go straight, it will come straight. If you take left, it will take left. If you take right, it will take right. Hutch dog ad, you forgotten. Hutch dog. Hutch puppy. Peg. Okay. So variable costs are like hutch puppies. Hutch dogs. Wherever you go, it will follows. If you increase production, it will also increase. If you decrease production, it will also decrease. That is the basic nature of variable cost. Cost per unit is same. Cost as a lump sum is not same. If you increase, it will increase. If you decrease, it will decrease. That is the nature of variable cost. Case of fixed cost. Cost per unit is not same. Only lump sum is same. Only lump sum is same. Cost in total is fixed. That is why it will be called as fixed cost. Cost in total is fixed, but cost per unit is not fixed. There is another best example for this explanation. If anybody didn't get the point accurately, now pay attention carefully. Teja is searching for a room in SR Nagar. So he went to a landlord and started negotiation. He saw a to-let board and went to a landlord and started negotiation. Is there any room available here? Yes, available. What is the rent? 20,000. What is the rent? 20,000. So only Teja is going to occupy the room. Only Teja. So how much you should pay rent? 20,000. In the next month, his friend Sai also joined in the room. Okay. Now how much you will pay? 20,000 you will pay. But your share is 10,000. His share is 10,000. Why? Two people are sharing the room. Two people are sharing the. Anybody is carrying mobiles? First warning actually. It's very important to keep your mobiles on silent. Okay, I'll tell to that. Right. So what we are discussing? SR Nagar room. How much is the rent? 20,000. In first month, how much you paid? 20,000 you paid to the landlord. Second month also you will pay 20,000 to the landlord. But your share is 10,000. His share is 10,000. In third month, these two monkey fellows also joined in your room. So how much total members are there? 4 members. Now how much you will pay to landlord? 20,000 only. But your share is 5. This is the best example for fixed cost. Now listen. Fixed cost. Lump sum fixed? Lump sum fixed kada? How much you are paying to landlord every month? 20, 20, 20, 20. One member is there, 20,000. Two members, 20,000. Three members, 20. So cost lump sum is fixed. 20,000 is fixed, amma. Clear, amma? 20,000 is fixed. But cost per unit is always changing. First month cost per unit 20,000. Second month cost per unit 10,000. Third month cost per unit 5,000. So cost per unit is always changing. It is not fixed. It is changing. Okay. So this is the nature of fixed cost. The nature of cost. Okay. So, but variable cost is quite different. Why it is different? Why? Because it is fixed cost per unit, and lump sum it will not fixed. Say for example, you started a biryani point, and one plate biryani is 200. One plate biryani how much? 200. Only 10% came on day one. Your sales will be 2,000. You are spoiling my marks here. Since morning you are saying wrong answers only. So 200 into 10 how much? 2,000. Okay. So on day 2, 20 members came to eat. How much is your sale? 4,000. On day 3, 30 members came to eat biryani. 200 into 30 members is 6,000. So each and every day your cost per unit is same. Biryani rate is same, 200 only. But lump sum it is not fixed. One day it will 2,000, next 4,000, next 6,000, like that it is increasing. This is a example of variable cost. What I have written, according to level of activity it will change. If 10 members came, one amount. 20 members came, another amount. 30 members came, another amount. But any member, 200 is the cost of biryani. Okay, so that is the basic nature of understanding with respect to fixed cost as well as variable cost. You must understand this. Okay, fixed cost, variable cost. So once again, tell me, fixed cost is fixed fixed irrespective of production level, no matter how much you produce. So fixed cost is fixed. So fixed cost is amount fixed in total. Amount in total is fixed. Cost per unit is changes, not fixed. If you produce more, the cost will less. If you produce less, cost will be more, like that. Sir, how you can say that if you produce more, cost will be less? SR Nagar room, only 2 members are there. Cost per unit is 10,000, 10,000. 10,000, 10,000. If 4 members are there, 5,000. That means from 10,000, it is decreased to 5,000. It means decreased or not? In first month, 2 members are there, ma. So 10,000, 10,000, each one is contributing. In second month, 4 members are there. So each one should contribute 5,000. That means in total, it is 20,000 only in total. But when cost per unit is calculated, it is decreased from 10,000 to 5,000. This is the nature of cost, fixed cost. So remember only one thing, in case of fixed cost, cost as total is same. It will not change. Cost as total is same. Cost per unit is not same. Will change according to the level of activity. The main thing. And in case of variable cost, the position is quite reverse. Cost as a total is not same. Cost per unit is same. Clear, ma? The nature. Sir, why we are discussing all these points means, in the given problem, he has told us about fixed cost and variable cost. I hope everybody written these concepts in your notes. Very good. Right, listen carefully. Where we are? Yes. Yes. So read out the underlined topic. 50% of the overheads charges are fixed and other 50% are variable. So out of total overheads, 50% fixed overheads. It will not change. Remaining 50% is variable. It will change. So that is he is telling. And the selling expenses will be reduced by 20% and the rate of profit remains same. What is the rate of profit? 25% on selling price. So prepare a cost statement for the year 2022 showing the total profit and selling price per unit. This is the problem. Okay, listen carefully. Let's solve the problem in a comfortable way. We are going to solve this problem very easily. So first of all, listen carefully. With respect to 2021, I'll write the data first. After that, here 2022 data I'll write. Tell me, production in 2021, how many units? Everybody should participate. 10,000 units. Production in 2022 is planning to produce 15,000 units. Actually, in costing, in accounts and costing, accounts as well as costing, you have to write these denominations in your exam paper. Otherwise, you will lose marks. The answer is rupees, units, kgs, tons, what you need to mention. Otherwise, you will lose marks. So 15,000 units. Next one, cost of raw material. Cost of raw material. Okay. How much? 2 lakhs. How much? 2 lakhs. So we'll do one thing. ఇది టోటల్ కింద పెడదాం. ఏమో పర్ యూనిట్ కింద పెడదాం. అండ్ ఇన్ ద సేమ్ వే ఇక్కడ కూడా 2022లో టోటల్కి ఒక కాలం పెడదాం. పర్ యూనిట్కి కూడా ఒక కాలం పెడదాం. ఓకే. సో అల్టిమేట్గా ఏంటంటే this is the line and bifurcation. Okay. Right. Now, in 2021, production 10,000 units, 2022 production 15,000 units. Cost of raw material is 2 lakhs. That means per unit cost is 20. How 20? 2 lakh by 10,000. Everybody following? Teja, you are not following. Following? Must understand. Each and everybody in the class must understand the solution of this problem. Okay. So I'm going to ask questions. This is the cost of raw material. And next one, what he has given, labor cost 1,20,000. Yes. Labor cost means direct labor only. How much ma? 1,20,000 for how many units? 10,000 units. So it will be 12. How 12? How 12 arrived? 1,20,000 divided by 10,000. Very good. So next, only overheads is there. No direct expenses has been given. Okay, no problem. Being there is no direct expenses, will sums up to prime cost. Will sums up to prime cost. Prime cost how much ma? 3,20,000. That is units na. So, and here also we will write we will write later. First of all, we will solve 2021. Later that we will write. So this is prime cost. And to prime cost, what we need to do in the original structure of cost sheet, we have to add factory overheads. Add factory overheads. So factory overheads how much ma? 80,000. Factory overheads how much? 80,000. Factory overheads 80,000. Okay. So listen carefully. What he has written here, 50% of the overheads fixed and 50% is variable. So now factory overheads how much? 80,000. In 80,000, 50% is fixed, 50% is variable. Okay. Listen carefully. In 80,000, 50% is how much? Simple, 40,000. So we will write as fixed factory overheads. How much? 40,000. And variable factory overheads. How much? 40,000. And listen carefully. Fixed factory overheads per unit finding is immaterial. Why? Because in case of fixed cost, per unit is not change. Fixed cost amount is fixed. Fixed cost is fixed as amount. Cost per unit, it will not change. Sorry, it will immaterial. It is immaterial. It will keep on change. So don't find this per unit cost. You will find this per unit cost 40,000 by 10,000 units, right? That means 4 rupee. Do you really understand why we did not calculated this cost as per unit basis? Why? Because this is which overhead? Fixed overhead. This is what you have written in your notebooks. In case of fixed cost, into mark is given to which concept? Cost per unit you have written into mark, na? That means there is no point in finding per unit cost of fixed cost. That is why we are not finding. Okay, we are leaving it. Clear, Amma? Then why we are finding variable factory overheads? Why? Because the nature of variable cost is cost per unit is fixed. Cost per unit is fixed. If you got any doubts, refer your notes. In variable cost, right symbol is given to which concept? Cost per unit, you have tick right symbol, right? So that is why we need to follow. So this is factory overheads. Do you really know what will happen if you add factory overheads to prime cost, gross works cost, and work in progress? We need to adjust. Here in the problem there is no work in progress. That is why we are directly writing as net works cost. Net works cost. Okay. So how much ma? 3,20,000 plus 40,000 plus 40,000. That is like how much? Clear, Amma? So till this point, everybody got the clarity, how we are solving the problem. Everybody is following. So after works cost, what we need to do? We have to add administration overheads or office overheads. Both are same, different names. You will have different names in your home, na? Udbhav will be called as, what is your nickname? Tinny, Bunny, Munni, okay, right. So like this, office overhead, administration overheads, both are same. Both are same. Here also, he has clearly given administration overheads 50% fixed and 50% variable. And how much is office overheads? 40,000. So out of 40,000, 50% means 20,000 fixed and remaining 20,000 variable. Is there any point or logical point in finding cost per unit of fixed overheads? No, there is no point. Sir, why there is no point? It will keep on changing. It will keep on changing. So there is no point. That is why we are not going to calculate cost per unit of fixed overheads. We are going to calculate only cost per unit of variable overheads. Why? Because it will not change. Okay. Now variable overheads 20,000. For how many units? 20,000? 10,000 units. That means 2 rupees. Everybody following up? So the result will be cost of goods sold. Cost of goods sold directly. Why? Because no adjustments has been given. That is 4 lakh 40,000. 4 lakh 40,000. So last but not least, we are adding selling and distribution overheads, or here it has been given as selling and distribution expenses. Selling expenses how much ma? 10,000. Here 10,000. So selling and distribution expenses sums up to 10,000, and ultimately the result will be called as cost of sales will be 4,50,000. 4,50,000. To this cost of sales, what we need to add? Profit we need to add, and the result will be sales. Okay. Profit we don't know. Sales we don't know. But in order to find out the profit, he has been given as rate of profit is 25% on sales, selling price. Okay. Rate of profit is how much? Rate of profit is how much? 25% on sales. Okay. Listen carefully. Oh, we forgot to calculate cost per unit. Selling price. Selling and distribution expenses how much ma? 10,000. For how many units? 10,000 units. Means 1 rupee. Okay. Now add the total from beginning. 20 plus 12, 32. 32 plus 4, 36. 36 plus 2, 38. 38 plus 1, 39. 39. Okay. So it is immaterial, but we are finding that's it. So now we have to calculate what? Sales. But we have to, in order to get sales, we need to find out profit. But we don't know profit. But in order to find profit, there is a link given. What is that link? Rate of profit is 25% on selling price. Rate of profit is 25% on selling price. Listen carefully. Do you know the basic sense of mathematics? Cost plus profit is equal to sales. Clear? Is it clear? We will add profit to our cost if you start a business. Start a business. Chair business. You are purchasing chairs at 3,000 rupee. For how much you will sell? More than 3,000 you will sell. Why it is more than 3,000? That is profit. That is, you are adding profit to the cost. That is common sense, not costing. Basic common sense, ma. You will try to add profit in cost, and ultimately it will give to sales price. Here also, cost plus profit is equal to sales. This is basic sense. Listen. It is given as cost plus profit we don't know, but he is telling us that 25% of sales is equal to profit. 25% of sales is equal to profit. We don't know sales also. That is why let's take sales as X. We don't know sales. That is why we are taking sales as X. So how much is profit? 25% of sales, right? That is 25% of X. 25 in percentage. But in number it is 0.25, right? 25 in percentage ma. But if we express in number, it is how much? 25 by 100. 25 by 100. 25%. Percent means, do you know percent? Cent means 100. Per cent means 25 per 100. So 25, if you divide in calculator also, 25 divided by 100 is 0.25. So cost plus 0.25 x is equal to x. You will take x to this side. Then plus will automatically change to minus. Then cost is equal to 0.75x. 0.75x. You divide x is equal to cost divided by 0.75. X is equal to how much, ma? Cost divided by 0.75. Cost divided by 0.75. Cost divided by 0.7. Listen carefully. Here, sales is x, right? We don't know x, but we know cost, right? So now, if you substitute the equation, x is equal to cost is how much? 4,50,000 divided by 0.75. How much? Lakhs. 6 lakhs. Okay. So profit is nothing but the difference between cost and sales, na? So what is the difference between 4,50,000 and 6 lakhs? 1,50,000. So we'll simply write it as 1 lakh. Everybody understood how we calculated sales and profit? It is very simple, ma. Don't complicate the subject. This rule, I have found it common sense. Even though an illiterate person will know this rule. Say for example, there is an illiterate person running the hotel. On a roadside, he is running the hotel. He's a shopkeeper. He is selling idli. Cost of making idli is 2 rupee per piece. In a plate, 4 idli will come. 4 into 2, how much? 8 rupee. For how much it will sell? How much he should sell? For 8 rupee, for less than 8 rupee, or more than 8 rupee? For more than 8 rupee, he will sell. And whatever he is increasing, it is profit. Okay. In the same way, this is not costing sense, common sense. What is common sense? Cost plus profit is equal to sale. Cost plus profit is equal to, this is common sense. And in the problem, he has been given as 25% of sales is profit. So profit is equal to 25% of sales. Sales we don't know. That is why we consider it as x. 25% of x. It means in number, profit is equal to 0.25x. 0.25. That is why I have written 0.25x. Cost plus 0.25x is equal to x. I have taken this 0.25 to that side, opposite side. Whenever we are taking to opposite side, the positions will change, the symbols will change. So automatically plus symbol will change to minus symbol. So x minus 0.25 is equal to 0.75x. Cost is equal to 0.75x. That is x is equal to cost by 0.75. So x is much. Cost is 4,50,000. After arriving at calculation, we found that x is equal to x. Okay, we have successfully found out 2021 profit and 2021 sales. And we'll do one thing. Cost per unit also we will try to write. 39 cost of sale. Okay, fixed overheads cost per unit we don't have written, right? So that no problem. We can directly write. So how many? There is this one. How many units we have produced in 2021? 10,000 units. Okay. So for 10,000 units, what is our sales? 6 lakhs. That means selling price is 60 rupee. Selling price is how much, ma? 60 rupee. And for 10,000 units, we have earned profit of 1,50,000. That means profit per unit is 15 rupee. Profit per unit is 15 rupee. So these are the very important points. Remember. Sir, I'll try to, even though it is not material, I'll try to find cost per unit of each and everything, sir. Yes, you can find out. Listen carefully. Fixed overheads is 40,000, na? We are not considering as cost per unit. Why? Because fixed overheads cost per unit will keep on changing. So there is no point, sir. For calculation purpose, I need, sir. Okay, right. 40,000 for 10,000 units means 4 rupee per unit, and 20,000 per unit, 20,000 for 10,000 units means 2 rupee. So now you please add 20 plus 12, 32, 32 plus 8, 40, 40 plus 2 plus 2, 4, 44 plus 1, 45. So now it will be 45. And whenever we are adding 45 to 15, 40 plus 45 plus 15, it will become, okay, sir. In the first case, why we have not found out or not calculated this 4 and this 2, sir? Why we have not calculated? Why? Because it is immaterial. Even though we found it, it will change. There is no point. That is why we have ignored. For presentation purpose, we have again included. Sir, exam lo kuda mem itla rayala. It is your choice. It is up to you. Okay. So this is the data pertaining to and now what we are supposed to do, we have to calculate everything for 2022. Now it is very easy. Why? Because each and every data is ready here. We'll simply calculate. Okay. Everybody must participate. Listen carefully. How many units he is producing? 15,000 units. Cost per unit is, calculate. 15,000 into 20, how much? 3 lakhs. Very good. No. Listen carefully. Cost is increasing, na? 20% increase. No. Here. Listen. First of all, cost of raw material is increased by 20%. So, for 20 rupee, add 20%. It will 4 rupee. 20 plus 4, how much, ma? 24 rupee. And labor cost is increased by 10%. That means for 12, if you calculate 10%, it is 1.2. 12 plus 1.2, 13.2. And fixed overheads, it is immaterial, and variable overheads 4 rupee only. It will not change. Why it will not change? Variable overheads. Variable means cost per unit, it will not change. And variable overheads, administration also 2 rupee, it will not change. And selling and distribution, selling expenses will be reduced by 20%. Reduced by 20% means 0.8, 80 paisa. Why? Because 1 rupee selling expenses per unit, it will reduce by 20%. So if you remove 20% from 1 rupee till 80 paisa, so cost per unit is there. Now simply multiply with 15,000. 15,000 into 24, how much, ma? 3 lakh? 3,60,000. Very good. Next, 13.2 into 15,000, how much? 1,98,000 total. 5,58,000. How we have arrived at these two steps? Do you got the clarity? So why it is 24? Why it is 24? Tell me. Why? Because in the problem he mentioned that for raw material cost you have to increase 20%. That is 24. Why it is 13.2? In the problem he mentioned as increased 10%. That is why it is 13.2. And next one, total 5,58,000. After that, listen, this is fixed overheads, right? Fixed overheads always fixed. Fixed overheads always fixed. Either for 10,000 units or for 15,000 units, it will not change. So fixed overheads always fixed. So that is why we have to add 40,000. Sir, here also 40,000, here also 40,000. Why? Fixed overheads are fixed. Okay. Next one. Variable overheads 4 rupee per unit. How many units are there? 15,000 units. Per unit 4 rupee. 15,000 into 4? 3,000. So the total sums up to how much? 6,58,000. 6,58,000. And next, here also, listen carefully, 20,000. Fixed overhead, right? At this level also, the amount will be same as 20,000, right? So you have to write only 20,000 again. Sir, why we are writing here also same and here also same? Fixed overheads. Fixed overheads will not change according to the level of activity. Okay. Next one. Variable overheads 2 rupee, and it is 15,000 into 2, how much ma? 30,000. 1,000 into 2, how much? 30,000. Okay. Seven lakh 8,000. 7 not 8. 7 lakh 8,000. Do you got the clarity? Sir, why we are resembling same figures in the circled 4 circles form? Why? Fixed overhead. Aithe? Always fixed. Irrespective of production. It may be 10,000 units or it may be 15,000. It may be 1 unit also. You have to write the same. Okay. Next, very good. Follow. Selling and distribution expenses, it will be 80 paisa, right? 80 paisa into 15,000 units. Tell me. 12,000. Now, 7 lakh 20, yeah? 7 lakh 20,000. 7 lakhs 20,000. Listen carefully. It is very, very important. Listen carefully. In the problem, he clearly mentioned as the rate of profit will remain the same. Rate of profit will remain the same. Rate of profit is 25%, right? So again, come to common sense. Cost plus profit is equal to sale. Sales how much? Don't know. Sales you don't know. That is why take as X. So cost plus profit is equal to X. Profit he has been written as 25% of X. That means cost plus 0.25X is equal to X. That is equal to cost is equal to 0.75X. That is equal to X is equal to cost by 0.75. Now find out 7,20,000 divided by 0.75. How much? 9,30,000. 9,30,000. And now, what is the difference between 7,20,000 and 9,60,000? 2,40,000. This is the profit and this is the selling price per unit. So if you need cost per unit and all for 15,000 units, na, so profit is 2,40,000, right? For 15,000 units, find out per unit. 2,40,000 divided by 15, how much? 16 per unit. And sales 9,60,000 divided by 15 enta 64. So these are the crucial points, 16 and 64. So in new production level of 15,000 units, the cost per unit is the profit per unit is 16 and the selling price per unit is 64. Okay, So this is all with respect to problem, cost sheet problem. Okay, so at initial sense, actually the problem is very simple, but initially I need to explain each and every point in detail. I can't go by assumptions that you don't know, you know this topic, you don't know that topic, and that assumption I can't go forward. Why? Because these are initial sessions basics. So that is why I am going to explain each and every topic and each and every concept in detail multiple times. Not single time, multiple times I am explaining. So that is why to solve one problem, it will take somewhere around one and a half hour it will take. But in coming days, we are not taking 1.5 hour each for each problem. Coming days, our learning curve will improve. We don't need to explain each and every detail in coming days. You know the basics. Okay, that is why. So this is the ultimate problem. So do you understand how we have solved the entire problem? Clear? No doubts at all. So this is the problem and solution. You will find it in your books. That means institute books. But he might be given in a different way. I didn't saw the answer and all. No need to saw the answers. So you do one thing. By the time Bhaskar sir will come, you please copy this answer. Otherwise, if sir came early, you will take screenshot available in YouTube, and you must write the solution in your notes. Tomorrow I'm going to check each and everybody's notes. Today I have mentioned that you must have one separate notes, right? So with respect to variable cost and with respect to fixed cost, that matter should be there in your notes, and the solution to this problem also must be mentioned in your notes. Tomorrow, what I am going to do in the first point, I am going to check your notes. For coming 1 week, my class will be first class, 9 to 10:30. Accounts class will take a pause for few days, some 3 to 4 days. So this week, my class will be first class, 9 to 10:30. Okay. So tomorrow, what we are going to solve means we are going to solve another illustration. It is also a beautiful illustration. We are going to solve tomorrow. Okay. Clear? Right. Thank you.